2018 was an amazing year in the means of the development of certain video games, Frostpunk being one of them. And excuse me, based on what I've seen so far in terms of the development of this game, things have been going extremely well. We have the release of numerous amounts of free DLC, the introduction of a few unique vehicles based on scenarios, and we even got new constructible items. We even got a taste of what trade could actually look like. And if we look through some of the archives that I have created, I've spoken numerous times about the various mechanics that might have been secretly tested out by the developers within the game. Talking to Blood Mage and a couple of my other friends from the community. By the way, lots of love to everybody, and I hope you're having an amazing day. Back to what I'm saying, we said that there is a chance that trading and city construction could make their way into the endless game, the endless portion of the game itself. But why? Why is it that they would put it in the endless perspective of game development? Well, here is my actual take on it. Building a city within the Frostpunk universe is a very challenging and daunting task, especially if you're fairly new to the game, and it can be overwhelming within the first few days, weeks, to the extent of well, weeks within the game, not in real life, but in game time. It can be very difficult and it can be challenging, especially if you're fairly new to the genre and the development of cities within this game. Why? It's because it's nothing like anything you've ever played. There is no actual real form of currency, and it's more about survival and sustenance. As long as the generator is running, you're okay. However, the weather can be one of your greatest enemies. And if you can ask any one of the experienced players of Frostpunk, once that weather turns south or shit hits the fan, man, you're done. Unless you have prepared for it. What I like about the endless part of the Frostpunk universe or the game itself is the ability for you to an extent play around with natural disasters, but not in the usual way that other city builders or survival type games actually do it. These things have drastic effects and they are lasting, and if you're not prepared for them, they can spell doom for your city. So it's best to be prepared for almost every situation. However, it takes a lot of strategic management, which is also very amazing as well. The sheer level of strategic management needed within this game can sometimes drive the average player away from it if he or she is not really a city builder or a strategic game player in terms of development and managing of resources. Why is this so? The game heavily depends on your ability to calculate when to adjust to certain circumstances and, to an extent, when to be ready to transfer or to switch a particular leadership style. The decision tree within the game is embedded within the actions taken by the player and current events outside of the player's control happening within the natural environment. However, the developers had other plans of actually adding in specific individuals or heroes within the game, but they said they didn't want to do it as it would detract from the city. Being the main focus of the game, the city is one of your primary focuses and is where everyone lives, everyone is fed, work is carried out, and to an extent, buried somewhere on the outskirts of it. In a recent discovery by another member of the community, I can now confirm that whenever a city goes dark or whenever the generator shuts off, the crater is filled with snow soon after and the city ceases to exist. So this could suggest to me that there might be cities out there that we could excavate and then repopulate. And another mechanic that you guys might have noticed when playing the Endless hard endurance setting or the Serenity is the large craters that these individuals are able to create with snow crawlers. This also suggests to me that it might also be possible for us to actually excavate areas or take over areas that were excavated. However, resources would actually be needed to sustain these areas in order for them to develop into a full-fledged city. It would also be interesting to see if scouts could actually mark a location and a team of a city development crew would be sent out to establish a small outpost within the area, and you are faced with the challenge of actually sustaining that outpost long enough for it to develop into a city. After such action is taken, you can then put in a subordinate to supervise either your main city or the second city. Once this system is set up, there's going to be a necessity for a restructuring of the book of laws and the tech tree to adjust for the new needs. There's also going to be the need of adding a form of trade mechanic. This has been done in approximately two scenarios before, the Winterhome scenario and the Ark scenario. So it is within my realm to say that it is plausible for them to actually implement it. Reusing of assets is technically okay based on the situation and the necessity of it. And as it relates to that mysterious chemical found within the relics of the Frostland, the good news is that that chemical could actually be some form of dino juice or fossil fuel, as you guys might call it, the liquid form, not coal this time, but gas. So dreadnoughts might have actually been powered by petroleum or some form of oil or substance of such similar to it, with same properties capable of causing you to suffocate or die if coming in too much contact of it. This is just saying lore. Thank you for watching and have an amazing day and stay frosty.